What's up, YouTube? It's been a while. It's been a while. A lot of stuff has happened since the last time I posted a video. So let's get right down to it. Okay, so I took a psychedelic mushroom and I experienced ego death. And what I learned was that we can't die. That our true nature is infinite consciousness, infinite awareness. So we can't die. There's a famous YouTuber named Sadhguru. He said it best. Death is a cosmic joke. Can't die. And while I was in that state, I had somebody with me who kept asking me questions about that. And I bust out laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. It's the funniest thing to me because in that state, I knew I couldn't die and that death was an illusion. It's crazy. Now, yes, your human body can die, but you're not your body. I know you think you're your body. You're very attached to your body. So am I. But you're not your body. That's not what you truly are. And the funny part is my body was very weak because what happened was I got into a car accident shortly after the ego death. So I got to experience a near death experience right after experiencing ego death on on psychedelic. So I got two for the price of one. So after I experienced, had a near death experience with that, when I came back, my body felt very weak. It felt dead. It didn't feel alive. It felt like I was dragging it. So my attachment to my body was very loose at that point. And at that point, when I felt like I was dragging it, that's when I really knew. I was like, wow, my body really isn't me. I'm just dragging it. It's like I'm attached to it and I'm dragging it along, trying to pull it along. Um, and so that also, put me for a ride. Also, the car accident triggered a Kundalini awakening within me. So I had to deal with that one as well. Um, it was very rough. There was an initiation, a dark night of the soul process I had to go through because of that Kundalini awakening. I had to face death and die multiple times. Face my greatest fear of annihilation multiple times. I overcame all of that. I consider it the greatest accomplishment of my life because, like, I was totally afraid to die, and this is even after the ego death I had experienced already. So it was very intense, very intense. I didn't know the third eye existed. I didn't know chakras existed. I had heard about them, but I was never sure. But because of my experiences, I now know chakras exist, the third eye exists, and the Kundalini exists as well. The irony is, I was told that if you release the Kundalini, you wouldn't be able to live a normal life. Well, I guess I'm the exception to the rule. For a while, I thought that was the case, but my Kundalini has calmed down somewhat. For a while, it did do the things that it did, but it's calmed down. It's calmed down. I did take some advice. They say in grounding your Kundalini, you can eat heavier foods. So I have done that, and that also helped as well. But I don't think I have a lot of blockages. I think the reason why a lot of people have issues with Kundalini awakenings is they have a lot of trauma that they're holding on to. I don't have that problem. I think mostly because at a certain point, realized that I was just doing it to myself. Like all suffering is self-inflicted, So it's like people walk around and say, "Oh, I suffer depression." No, no, you don't. You're doing it to yourself. And I know it's not a popular statement to say. A lot of people will probably get angry at this, but it's the truth. Meditation will teach you that. If you meditate, you'll learn real quickly. All of a sudden, your suffering stops. Your suffering starts from your thoughts. Your thoughts are just raging. And, your thoughts are always constantly say, I want this, I want that, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. And it's just running on autopilot. And you're identifying with those thoughts. So it's not just the thought popping up and saying, this is bad, this is bad, this is good. It's you saying, I think this is bad, this is good. So you've put yourself into your thoughts, and you get lost in your thoughts, and your thoughts are random. Your thoughts are there to take in information that has happened in the past and apply it to the present moment, and also to predict the future. So you're living in the present while thinking about the past and while worrying about the future. So all those things are happening simultaneously, and you're driving yourself crazy. And you're saying, why do I suffer? Why do I suffer? Why do I suffer? And so then you make excuses and say, oh, I'm suffering because this happened to me, that happened to me. No, you're not suffering because something happened to you. You're not suffering because of your living condition. I'm not saying living condition might not be rough on you, but that's not why you're suffering. It's your perspective and your identification with your thoughts. If you change your perspective, you change your identification with your thoughts, the suffering stops. So one of the things I've been using to try to help people with this is a lot of people go around saying, "Oh, I wish I had more money. If I had a better car or whatever." And I remind them, I say, right now, you take all the technology that you have, and you go back in ancient times to when the kings and queens lived, you're richer than they are. So your quality of life is higher than kings and queens of the past. Now, understand, if you were a peasant back then, or even a merchant, you would look at the king and queen and say, I wish I had as much money as them, or I wish I had that quality of life. Well, right now, your quality of life is better than them. You have access to cars, planes. You have access to video on demand. You can watch whatever TV show you want to watch, anywhere, either from the comfort of your home or on the go, anywhere, and enjoy it. You know, uh, you also have the ability to eat different types of foods and sweets that were not available back then. You have the ability to communicate through texting, phone calls, video calls, texting online, through the group chats and stuff. So you have the ability to connect with others across vast amounts of spatial separation, without ever having to leave the confines of where you currently are. So you're enjoying technological breakthroughs that didn't exist way back then, and you're still unhappy. And you're assuming in your mind, well, if I had what they had. No, if you put you right now as a peasant or even a merchant in a kingdom, you would look at the king and queen in the royal family and say, I wish I had their life. Well, right now, the life you're living, as far as access to technology, is superior than them. And you're still unhappy. Recognize that. Recognize throughout your life, from being a kid to an adolescent to maybe an adult right now, you always looked at what you didn't have and said, if I have that, I'll finally be happy. If I have that, I'll finally be happy. And you've been doing that your entire life. And some of those things you've gotten. And it made you happy for a brief moment. And then it stopped. Some people might be a game system. Some people might be a car. Some people might be a relationship. Whatever it was. You said, if I get that, I'll be happy. And it never worked out that way. Now, I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm not saying this to take away the enjoyment of new things in life. New things are fun, but new things will never sustain you. You cannot sustain yourself as far as happiness with anything outside of you. So, to be happy, you have to be fine with yourself. You need to be able to be in the present moment and not resist whatever is. To be okay with what is, to embrace what is, and to love what is. And when you can do those things, then you're happy. Like suffering, the cessation of suffering is not hard. It's actually very easy. Just be. Like right now, let's say I was suffering. I'm not, but let's say I was, right? I could just meditate. And then boom, I'm good. Just like that. I can release all attachment to thoughts. and I'm good. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. It's just, you just release all attachment to thought. Now, you don't try to stop thinking. To meditate, you just submit and release. I'm talking about like real submission, like you about to fall asleep submission. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you don't have to close your eyes to meditate. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. But you just release all the tension. You just relax, and you become the observer. And you just observe. And as you observe, what you'll notice is that you're just there as awareness. And when you're just there as awareness, you can observe everything. You can observe your thoughts, you can observe your emotion, you can observe your surrounding environment. And what you'll also observe and notice is there's no more tension. There's no more stress. And you're like, why is that? Oh, because I was doing it to myself all along. Yes, you were. If you don't give power to your thoughts or to your emotions through identification, well, then there's nothing to suffer, right? So let's say somebody were to slap me, right? Let's say they didn't do it on purpose. Let's say they did it by accident. I don't know, they were pulling something and their hand slipped off the thing they were pulling it and they smacked me, right? So it was by accident. Now, I can get mad, turn myself into a victim, right? Or I can look at the situation and say, you know what? It was by mistake. It's not a big deal. And keep it moving. It's all about how I look at it. So part of your suffering is your perspective. You're not grateful. You're ungrateful. You take for granted all the blessings that you have inside your life and focus on what you don't have. So you're like, you forget you have a house, forget you have a car, but you have gotten food every single day, that nobody has been attacking you physically and harming you. Maybe got some, a couple of verbal attacks, but nothing physical. So you're safe. You take your safety for granted. Take your safety as just normal. Whereas there's tons of other people who live in other parts of the world who are not safe. They live in war zones. They have bullets flying around. They have a gang or a cartel that's in control. They might have lost some family members, or maybe they live in a place where the economy is bad. It's hard for them to make any type of money at all. I mean, the economy is already struggling here in America, but in other places of the world, it's way worse. Way worse. So you start to take for granted the blessings that you have. And as I already said, you forget the great technology that you have around you, and you focus on what you don't have. As they say, comparison is the thief of all joy. You're too busy comparing what you don't have. Oh, this guy's taller than me. Oh, this person has more money than me. Oh, this person's more charismatic than me. Oh, I wish I was as funny as that person, or as organized as that person, or as calm as that person. Whatever. You just finding things you don't have to then tell yourself that you don't have. And you say, why am I suffering? I wish I could stop my suffering. Well, yeah, with those thoughts of yours that you keep identifying with, you're gonna continue to suffer. And this mindset, this perspective, it was taught to you. You weren't born like this. You were born a curious-minded child, just asking questions and in awe of everything that you see. Everything you see is new to you. And then everybody just pretty much kills all your wildness by telling you, oh, that's just a chair, that's just a wall. Just, giving you a term to call it so it's not new to you anymore. It's a chair, it's a wall. So you have to try to ask, well, what's a wall? They don't want to tell you. They tell you it's just a wall. What's a chair? It's just a chair. So they take away the wonderment of life by labeling the thing as the thing that is being labeled as. See, a chair is not really a chair. And the people say, what you mean, Richard? Now you're sounding crazy. No, I'm not. What is a chair? Something you sit on. Okay. So I invented something to sit on. Right? Yes. Okay. And I called it a chair. So is the word chair a chair? No. Is the label itself a chair? No. The label is something we applied to the thing. The thing that you sit on. We call it a chair. So the label that is called a chair isn't a chair. That's what we mean. That's what I mean when I say a chair isn't a chair. Obviously, for labeling purposes, the chair is a chair, right? That's what you're going to call it. Or, if you have other names, other languages, you'll call it by that. But is a chair the term, the chair itself? No, it's not. It's just a label. That's all it is. Well, you are the same way. Your name that somebody calls you is not you. It's the name they call you by. The body that you're in is not you. It's just the thing you operate out of. So once you become conscious of this, your suffering stops. Because your suffering comes from your attachment to things that are not really the true version of you. They're you, not the true version of you. The true version of you is love, it's infinite, it's all-knowing, and it's peaceful. So when you connect to your true self, those are the characteristics you display. So that's all you have to do is learn how to connect with your being. You are a human being. The human suffers. The being just is. Connect to the being, and you will be just is. Just is does not suffer. Just is has no agenda. Just is doesn't have to do anything. It just is. So connect to just is, and you'll stop your suffering. And that's all I got to say in that topic. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was able to give you something. And yeah, thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your month. And remember to connect to what is. To connect to just is, which is your true self. Bye.